Welcome to Turkish Series Stars, the place where we bring you the most captivating, intimate, and unexpected moments from the world of Turkish entertainment. Before we dive into a story so full of emotion it feels lifted from the set of a drama, make sure you're subscribed, tap like, and hit join to unlock exclusive content. Now take a deep breath, because what has unfolded around Professionalism and its two magnetic leads has left even industry insiders speechless. Few shows have charmed audiences the way Professionalism has. Its success isn't only tied to the twists and betrayals in its script, but to the blazing connection between its two stars, Ebru as the brave and determined Dylan, and Akın as the storm-tossed, unflinchingly intense Baron. Week after week, viewers watched their on-screen bond deepen, and somewhere between the lines of dialogue and the silences in close-ups, the borders between fiction and reality began to blur. Fans didn't just root for Dylan and Baron, they started to believe Ebru and Akın might be writing a love story of their own when the cameras stopped. From the earliest press junkets, sharp-eyed followers noticed little moments that didn't feel staged. A laugh held a second too long. A glance, then another, then a soft smile that no director had called for. They answered questions like consummate professionals, yet there was a quiet rhythm to the way they stood near each other, an ease so natural it felt like history. Rumors spread across fan pages and forums that they were keeping something precious out of the spotlight. A car dropping one of them 2 streets over from set. Shared coffee cups hiding in the corners of behind-the-scenes photos. Whispers of late-night script sessions that turned into long conversations about life. People wanted to believe it. And then, a few weeks ago, the story everyone had been writing in their heads snapped into focus. Photos emerged online, soft, warm, and impossibly intimate. Under an archway laced with white flowers and gentle candlelight, Ebru and Akın stood close, their hands joined. The scene wasn't a set, but a home, not a sequence, but a promise. Family and a circle of close friends surrounded them as they exchanged rings, and the glow on their faces seemed to light the entire room. Ebru wore a simple ivory dress that floated as she moved, the fabric catching the light with every breath. She held a bouquet of pale pink roses, classic and delicate. Beside her, Akın, in a deep blue suit tailored to perfection, slipped a ring onto her finger while quiet applause rose like a wave and then broke into tears and laughter. In another shot, they embraced their parents, who looked overwhelmed with pride, gratitude, and the relief of a secret finally allowed to bloom. A cake appeared, decorated with their intertwined initials, an elegant A and E linked by a single vine. For viewers who had shipped the two from the very first episode, who clipped scenes of Dylan's defiance and Baron's restraint and read meaning into every breath, it felt like a wish granted. The love that conquered schemes and silence on screen had crossed the boundary into real life. It was the kind of twist nobody could write better than time itself. According to people connected to the production, the truth had been steady and quiet for a long while. Ebru and Akın had been together for over a year, choosing discretion over spectacle. On workdays they arrived separately, holding conversations in hallways and doorways where only a few trusted colleagues passed. They avoided public displays of affection, and when the set cleared and silence settled over the soundstage, they slipped away not to the city's flashiest restaurants, but to the places where love grows best. Kitchens where one of them chopped herbs while the other stirred a pot, balconies where the breeze carried the scent of the Bosphorus and the sound of distant horns, narrow streets for late walks when they could be 2 people instead of 2 names. Those who know them describe a steady, grounded partnership shaped by respect and a shared discipline. She reads scenes with a highlighter and a stack of notes, he counters with questions, softens lines, and runs them again until both feel the beat beneath the dialogue. Sometimes their preparation would spill past midnight, both of them leaning over pages and laughter, then drifting into a silence so comfortable it felt like home. The engagement, sources say, took place in a family home on the Asian side of Istanbul, the kind of house where pictures tell a history and the living room remembers every holiday. White blooms tucked into vases, candles flickering as if breathing, and the whisper of a single violin stitched together an atmosphere too gentle to be staged. There were no velvet ropes, no hotel ballrooms, no red carpet, just emotion, families, and the decision to let the moment belong to them. When the time came, the room quieted without anyone asking. Ebru's eyes filled as the ring touched her finger. Then Akın spoke in a voice raw with gratitude, thanking her for being his anchor through the hardest days of filming, for the way she steadied him when a scene's weight lingered long after cut was called, and for seeing the person behind the character, the man behind the name. People in the room wiped their eyes. Some looked at the floor, the ceiling, anywhere they could hide the emotion that rose too quickly to manage. The violin played on. As soon as the pictures found their way to the internet, the reaction exploded across platforms. Hashtags like hashtag Akın and Ebru engaged and hashtag Cancesekleri couple surged on Twitter and Instagram, spilling beyond Turkey to fan hubs in the Middle East, Spain, and Latin America. Editors cut together videos that paired Dylan and Baron's most aching scenes with the real-life images of Ebru and Akın exchanging rings. A close-up of Dylan's trembling hand became the lead-in to a photo of Ebru's bouquet. Baron's steely silence dissolved into Akın's smile as he looked down at her. The views climbed by the hundreds of thousands. Comments filled with joy and stories from fans who felt like they had been part of this journey from the first episode. Yet threaded through the congratulations were words of caution and care: give them time. Let them savor this without flashbulbs in their eyes. Don't turn what is beautiful into a spectacle. Despite this enormous step forward in their personal lives, both stars are keeping their minds centered on the work that put them on that set in the first place. Industry chatter hints that Akın is in serious talks for a sweeping historical series with a scale that demands patience and presence. He's reading, meeting, and measuring every offer against the respect he owes the character and the audience. Meanwhile, Ebru has been quietly entertaining opportunities that cross borders, curious about international collaborations that challenge her craft and widen her horizon. For now, those closest to them say they are hesitant to jump back into a joint project, wary that their very real love could be packaged and sold instead of protected and lived. It's a thoughtful choice, and it feels exactly like them. Still, the ripple effect is undeniable. Analysts and columnists across entertainment media speculate that the engagement will only deepen the way viewers feel about Cancesekleri. When people watch Dylan stand her ground or Baron wrestle with his demons, they might sense more than performance. They might see two artists who found in each other the courage to say yes to both their roles and their hearts. In an industry often dominated by loud breakups and headline-making spats, this story is a reminder that there is another way. Two people can meet through their work, treat that work with reverence, guard their privacy, and let love do the work of time. It wasn't just the images that traveled. It was the feeling in them, the serenity of a room lit by candles and family, the way her dress moved like a sigh, the way his hand steadied as it reached for hers. Those who were there describe a celebration that felt as if it had been waiting forever to happen and yet arrived right on time. After rings were exchanged, there was laughter like a release, conversations looping from childhood stories to first impressions to promises for the future. A cake was brought out, frosted in white and adorned with A&E, a detail simple enough to be perfect. Somewhere between slicing and toasting, someone put on a favorite song. They didn't dance like celebrities, choreographed and angling for the flattering light. They danced like people who knew the terrain of each other's smiles. Back on set, they kept moving as if nothing had changed, and yet everything had. Crew members noted that the air felt lighter, the long days more manageable, as if a private joy had gently changed the weather. They still arrived separately. They still kept their distance when cameras weren't rolling. But during rehearsals, a new calm radiated around them. Their reading sessions continued, highlighter marks bright as ever, and their exchanges carried a confidence that only trust can grant. When a scene demanded tears, it found them truthfully, then receded. When a scene required restraint, the restraint arrived without coldness. They worked like athletes in sync, pushing for the best take without pushing each other past the edge. That is what many people close to the couple emphasize, the solidity beneath the spark. They are not a firework that burns out before the echo fades. They are a lighthouse, steady, built to guide through fog and storm. Those quiet dinners at home, the walks after sunset, the hours spent digging into the spine of a scene, these are the ways they have chosen each other, day after day. And in making their engagement a moment that belonged to families first and headlines second, they told the world everything we needed to know about how they plan to move forward. Of course, curiosity remains a living thing. Will they share more images? Will they set a date soon? Will their wedding mirror the intimacy of their engagement, or surprise everyone with a different kind of celebration? For now, their circle says only this: they are savoring the afterglow, grateful for the love around them, and clear about their boundaries. They are artists first, partners always, and public figures only when necessary. Perhaps that is why this story resonates so deeply. It doesn't shout. It breathes. It reminds us that sometimes real life has better writers than television, even television as compelling as consistently. The plot twist was never a scandal, it was a promise kept. The cliffhanger isn't heartbreak, it's the possibility of a future built with intention. Ebru and Akın Akinozu have given fans what they didn't know they needed, proof that the tenderness we see when Dylan softens or the strength we glimpse when Baron breaks and rebuilds are not illusions. They are reflections of people who bring truth to their craft and kindness to each other. So tell us, did you see this coming, or did the photos knock the wind from you like they did to so many? Do you feel their relationship has added a new layer of meaning to Consisekleri and to the journey of Dylan and Baron? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Share the moment you first believed there was more than acting at play. And if there's another star or couple you want us to spotlight soon, send your requests our way. You're watching Turkish Series Stars. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and support what we do by tapping join. We'll be back soon with more from the beating heart of Turkish entertainment, where every so often, reality steps out from behind the curtain and takes a bow.